That's right. It's another late night and time for another reach into the Just Giggle It grab bag. And tonight we're pulling out. Oh, look! Neighbor Kid. Just Giggle It sketch number 36. And oh boy, it can't be. It's starring him. Oh, goodness, I have to alert Tiki. Tiki, get over here at once! Tiki!
What? You're interrupting my Chernobyl binge, Dragon?
Screw Chernobyl, man! We have a JGI sketch, but not just any JGI sketch. It's one of those. And by one of those, I mean it's featuring some guy named Joe Thomas or something. But more importantly, it's featuring Drew Barkus.
Wait, whoa. Hold the phone. You don't mean Weeping Willow, Drew Barkus. You don't mean a race away, Drew Barkus.
One in the very same, my friend. But Tiki,
no.
the grander implication, my friend, do you realize what this means?
Do I?
It's the Ballad of Barkus! Nah, I'm just kidding. Just putting Josh Thomas on his toes there, folks. And in reality, it is
the
Josh Thoma-thon.
Let the Thoma-thon rage on.
How true. That's right, folks. The next installment in the long-awaited Josh Thoma-thon has finally come to you, the viewing audience, and we're very excited to get into it. And yeah, we just want to keep Josh Thomas on his toes there, and also kind of play into the very sketch that we're covering tonight with Neighbor Kid, which was, of course, written, directed, and edited by Josh Thomas, and it is very much an autobiographical sketch to an extent, because this is actually based on a true thing, as you can probably gauge by the subscriber tag. What did you think of Neighbor Kid, by the way?
I liked it quite a bit. I don't think it's like in the upper pantheon of Just Giggle It by any means, but it does show off Josh Thomas's, skill set quite nicely. It's a very, like all good Just Giggle It sketches, we kind of take a very simple premise and sort of take it to its escalated conclusion.
Oh, true. And before we go any further, I'm going to make the semi-official announcement now. I wish I could give you more specifics, folks, but let's just say it's a little up in the air, because much like the mighty Santa Claus, Josh Thomas is busy doing his due diligence and making magic happen. Because, folks, here's the thing. We're going to end big this season on the grab bag. Bigger than big. Bigger than God, one might say. I won't tease up exactly how bigger than God, but let's just say, again, big God, little, basically God with lowercase g type God, Anyway, the fact of the matter is, we're going to be interviewing the big man himself. I can't announce that as far as I can say. We are going to interview the big man himself, and if all goes accordingly, it might be in kind of a wider venue. Now, here's what I want you to do, folks. I optimistically it will be the end of June, but it could drip into the beginning of July, which would coincide with the big man's birthday. A lot of birthdays just synonymous with all the JGI players recently. It's crazy. Think about it. Katie Mary Garland, Nicole Dubois, and soon, very soon, our very own Josh Thomas. Birthday boy aplenty. Folks, I swear to you, completely coincidental. Stars are aligning like a limbo line, folks. I don't know what to tell you. Point being, send your questions in either in any of the Josh Thoma-thon videos, or more accurately, and what I encourage all of you to check out anyway, the Discord page. Go to the Just Giggle Insiders, somewhere on the Discord page, preferably the Just Giggle Grab Bag section. Or your questions, anything you want us to ask Josh Thomas, you want to make sure you get in there, just going to send it to us in advance. Otherwise, just going to join us live when the thing happens. We'll announce a date once we firmly confirm it. But again, most likely end of June or beginning of July. It's where we're kind of looking at for it. Ideally on a Tuesday. But again, I won't bore you with semantics. I will announce a more formal date once we are more 100% on. The point being, that's how we're in the grab bag this season, folks. So send in your questions, write your congressman, do all that stuff. And while you're at it, watch Harley Quinn the Joker episode 5. It's near 500,000 views. Once it gets to 500,000 views, we're going to have the almighty teaser.
Oh, boy.
The almighty teaser. And once that teaser hits, man, oh my goodness. I mean, I'm sure it's going to premiere like wildfire. It's going to like we had the recent video premiered. And I'm trying. Hopefully, I will get some traction. I'll kind of gain some attention. By the same token,
we're going to do like a frame by frame, like deep dive analysis.
We might. We just might. I mean, just to get the groundswell support, we're going to do our part, little mister. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get that view. We're going to help. Tiki, I swear on the glorious, beautiful, goddess-like name of Vera Farmiga, we are gonna get to 1 million views on this, even if it kills us.
Dragon,
We
I'm
will.
sorry. I just love that Vera Farmiga is just like, at this point, it's so definitive. She is like the deity of our podcast in our weird like cinematic universe continuity that is the So You Want to Be an Imagineer podcast as a whole. Vera Farmiga is just kind of like the reigning savior lording over everything else.
Pretty much. I mean, collectively, it's Vera Farmiga. Maybe a rung below collectively for us, but at least for me personally, I mean, Great Loss is up there. But let's be honest, Vera Farmiga is kind of she's the connecting the connecting star, if you will. Point being, folks, we will get that view count up to 1 million, even if it kills us. But folks, we only have so much power, and by so much power, I mean we have very little to no power. But you have all the power, guys. You just need, again, like forever, it's like you clap until the fairy comes back to life, guys. And the fairy being episode 6 and onward and so on of Harley Quinn the Joker. Because you're going to watch that series. You're going to get hooked on that series. You're going to get to episode 5, and you're going to be very disappointed to find out that, wait a minute, where are the rest of the episodes? You're going to be one of those nameless average Joes on the comment section. And no, nothing against you, folks. I'm trying to protect you from this. You're going to be the one saying, where's episode 6? And I'm telling you right now, episode 6 is in your hands. We just got to get that view count. Just the views. Just get it up to 1 million. Share it around. Spread the word. Tell people to watch it. We get that view count, which so far is so close to 500,000. We get up to 1 million. And we'll have episode 6. And when that happens, it's going to get views aplenty, and we'll get us to episode 7 and on, which they have planned out. 6 is practically in a can as we speak. You're going to have a trailer at the ready.
Thomas Prince vault somewhere.
Exactly. It's in the Josh Thomas Prince vault. It's on a purple shelf as far as we know. It's just ready and waiting, and the only thing getting in its way is ourselves. That's all. We just need to spread the word, get it out there. We're going to get that view count up to 1 million. We're going to get more episodes. You're going to be thankful for it. You're going to be shaking random strangers' hands in the street. You're going to be saying, guys, I watched something truly remarkable. Thank you. I know you didn't help at all, but I'm going to tell you now, just watch it. Get the support going. Just watch this show, enrich your lives. Have a nice day. It's going to be like that when episode 6 comes out, folks. I kid you not. Anyway, so all this said, again, kind of a byproduct of the man we're here talking about today, Josh Thomas. So back to Neighbor Kid real quick. A few fun facts. All right. So Neighbor Kid. So Neighbor Kid. Basically, I believe the cell line is Richard loves his son, but he's just not his favorite.
Oh, God.
I think speaks volumes, because here's the thing. So this was inspired by Joshua Thomas's actual father here. So it's not as depressing. It's maybe not as, depends how you look. Like, it's kind of like a glass half full, glass half empty sort of thing here. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. So basically, Joshua Thomas, his father was, I believe, going through like a credit card thing. He either had to verify some information or something on the phone, and basically he was on, I guess, talking to the credit representative or something. And basically, one of his security questions is, "Who is your favorite actor?" And he put Drew Barkus. And I guess the representative was on the phone or something, asking him like, who is Drew Barkus? And he's telling him, oh yeah, he's this actor. He's really good. And he does, those videos, movies, and plays with my son. And of course, the representative said, yeah, wait a minute, your son isn't your favorite actor?
Oh my God! Wow!
So as you can imagine, that is kind of the lifeblood and fuel of the sketch. Pretty much.
That almost seems like a stranger than fiction scenario.
It is. I just love how it's just such a smart. It's just such a smart pull. It's like smart money to me says. I was kind of thinking this when I was watching the first time. I think smart money is like Joshua Thomas's father took like a Tim Sipka level interest in Drew Barkus. That was just my feeling before I found this out. It's like that has to be what happened. And again, I'm kind of glad to find I wasn't super off with that.
Yep. Oh God, are we gonna get a cinematic universe of the Just Giggle It parents, Dragon?
Well, with a recent tease for a potential heightened in the future, let me put it this way, folks. If that heighten does come to fruition, I think that'll be the perfect time to unleash our a few of our more niche.
Oh my god.
JGI stuff. Suffice to say.
Are you saying that they'd go and visit Sipka and Tim Sipka would make a cameo?
I'm saying, Tiki, we might have an actual heightened sketch that could do something along those lines.
Oh my god. I did see Josh hype up that heightened sketch, and it sounds amazing.
That's what I'm saying.
The Muppet movie of Just Giggle It Dragon.
And basically, when that happens, we might be inclined to go a little bit more
people happy.
Oh, God. Point being, we might be able to go into some of our more niche stuff, like potentially a JGI biopic and potentially the cinematic universe idea.
Oh, man.
How well
I'm telling you, that JGI biopic is like it's not quite ready yet, but it's in the oven, it's baking, it's coming to a golden crisp. All right.
Also, Joshua Thomas is in the comments right now saying, y'all need to stop saying Josh Thomas and put some darn UA on my name. He's joking, of course, but of course, I mean, like, we're kind of mirroring the kind of our betters here with Mark Sipka, another Josh Thomas Grand Slam. Kind of echoing a little bit of that, but yeah, maybe a little too big for our verse. The point, we're talking about the great man himself, Joshua Thomas here.
Wait, what does he want us to do?
Oh, Joshua Thomas wants to go all formal.
Oh, Joshua Thomas. Oh, okay.
Josh Thomas a little too familiar, a little too shorthand,
Gotcha, Joshua. I
think it goes without saying, Joshua Thomas-thon doesn't have quite the same dramatic flair to it. Point being. All right, so let's also want to welcome Demona B here, and as we mentioned, Drew Barkus. Yes, he played Noah. He played the friend in Eraseway, not the bad guy. He played the buddy, kind of the wide-eyed buddy who kind of tries to help out his friend there.
Oh man, that's ridiculous. I love how deep cut that goes into the JGI lore.
It does. I mean, the San Antonio years of Joshua Thomas. That's what we're working with. The San Antonio years.
Oh my god.
back when Joshua Thomas was a young buck, and folks, I'm going to tease this up here for another sketch you guys should keep an eye out for. One of the next reported things that Just Giggle is going to release is something truly remarkable, something I can't wait for. Just finding out that they're actually going not just the sketch route, nothing against the sketch route, but they're going for something even bigger. They're going for back to kind of the short film venue again, something akin to Eraseway, which gets me so excited. And I'll tell you why. It gets me so excited because we're going to see return to form. We haven't seen Joshua Thomas direct again a feature or something kind of a more kind of cinematic venue since Eraseway, which of course was kind of with us for a fleeting time. The point being, we were lucky enough to watch that and kind of get a scope of how far Joshua Thomas has come along from the San Antonio years to the Just Giggle It years. And this is going to be him dipping back into that well after his Just Giggle It years. It's going to be him seeing does Joshua Thomas have what it takes? And I mean, from what I've seen, it looks really promising. The one clip we have of Robostitute, and I tell you, folks, it's going to be. I'm frothing at the mouth to see what he's going to do with it. Oh, he's going to see, can he still do what he used to do, but can he do it better? Because Eraseway was far from a perfect movie, but it had the grit of a filmmaker to it,
Yeah, right. But at this point in his career, we can say that he's really kind of honed his craft between the JGI sketches and Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the real world. We're kind of like, to quote Hal Rudnick, he's a man at the height of his powers, Dragon.
Yep.
All right.
Also, so basically, let's here's the thing. I'm frustrated because, of course, with Joshua Thomas, the usual kind of way we equate the JGI players is, they're kind of the three kind of Trinity players of the DC universe to an extent. You have Poncio as your Batman. When in doubt, go to the Bat Poncio, if you will. You have Piper Hinson as the Amazon goddess of funny, the G in JGI, uppercase G. And then, of course, you have Joshua Thomas as kind of the Nick Cage Superman, face man of the man of many hats.
Yes.
Mad Hatter of JGI wears so many hats. That guy. He may wear the face of the Joker, but he's a Mad Hatter at heart. That Josh Thomas. And the fact of the matter is, I usually go for that comparison, but by the same token, I feel with the progression of Joshua Thomas as the filmmaker, it's almost like the progression of an Iron Man within certain cinematic universes, where again, it's like he's just come along so far. We saw what we thought was his prime in Iron Man, and he just got better and more advanced to nanotech. That's where we went. And that's kind of like fingers crossed. That's where Joshua Thomas is kind of going filmmaker wise. But anyway, so. We like to highlight kind of an aspect with each of the sketches that we're covering when we do a theme month. And here I feel we're covering Joshua Thomas, the writer. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't realize also the performer. Again, he's many hats. Emphasis on many hats here, folks.
Well,
the same joke.
We've already talked about a lot of his performances before this month. So, yeah, it is important to get things that also highlight his writing capabilities as well.
Sorry, we had some breaking news here. I'm a little gobsmacked here, but I'm still very excited all the same. Piper Henson is the director of Robo Institute, so shocking all.
Nice.
But seriously, that's awesome too, man. We're gonna see again. So we've seen Joshua Thomas just kind of turn and fill. Not just undercut all the Josh Thomas points we were making there. So yeah, it feels a little moot at this point, but just to sidle it to something even more interesting, we're gonna see Piper. We've seen Piper Henson direct some sketches. Of course, this is gonna be her first foray into kind of the wider scope from the sketch to kind of short film. So the point being, that's still gonna be really interesting in itself. So I'm probably just as excited for that. It's not gonna be quite the whole does he still have what it takes? Can Rocky re-enter the ring of filmmaking, as it were? But still, Piper Henson stepping in for the kind of first time, it's he's first time in our eyes. It's going to be that's still very exciting stuff. Of course, Piper Henson, she's excellent. The Mad Men sketch, I keep going to how that Mad Men sketch was directed in terms of my thing of Piper Henson's direction. I keep going with that with some of those pans at the opening. Anyway, sorry, we're drifting off topic, but I also want to one last thing with Demona B, and also welcome to Demona B, Josh Thomas, and Generation Productions. But with Demona B here, in response to all of our Harley Quinn and Joker hype, said, if I share it as obsessively as I used to, I'll probably get kicked off of Instagram. Yeah, don't get kicked off Instagram.
I hear you. That's a problem. We don't want anyone legitimately spamming.
The point being, though, friend of a friend, though, Demona. Know a guy who knows a guy. Yeah. So let's go the Albuquerque verse kind of route with it.
Way back in the day, I tried that with our podcast, just posting links to the podcast on social media accounts. And Dragon, to this day, I still can't comment on any Muppet media on Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was back when we were doing the Muppet 2015 show.
Right. The Muppets. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's
be blocked on both the Muppets 2015 show page and the main Muppets page.
Okay. So again, of course, folks, direct your Joshua Thomas questions for an eventual interview / kind of Q&A. Anything you want specifically in there in advance, again, just kind of throw that into the Discord page, preferably, or the comment section of the video here, and it'll make it on there. I swear to you. But anyway, so just a little last reminder for any new people joining us. So let's just dive right into it, man. Preamble aside, preamble darned. Let's just dive right into Neighbor Kid.
All right. So do you want to set up this next contributor that we see?
Yes. So also one thing, I was so excited with the I always knew ever since we confirmed the Josh Thoma-thon that I always wanted to get the Neighbor Kid. We finally had an excuse to get the Neighbor Kid. I was kind of wondering when are we ever going to get the Neighbor Kid? It always has just an interesting title and just an interesting kind of screenshot. But I was wondering what the heck is Neighbor Kid going to be about? Is it going to be just about a couple who's bothered by the neighbor kid or something? That's what I always thought, but it was far better than anything I could have ever imagined.
The Menace style situation.
Exactly. I thought it was going to be one of those with kind of a horrific, JGI twist of okay, and maybe the kid's a ghost or something.
God.
I don't know. The point being something menacing,
Poncio, woo!
Something like Sipka or something. Anyway. Well, I knew it wasn't going to be Sipka, otherwise we would have brought that up when we talked to Sipka. But anyway, the point. Anyway. So getting back on point here. So yes, our other the foil for Joshua Thomas here is the wonderful Jamie Cox. So Jamie Cox plays. So we have a husband and wife duo here. We have Richard, played by Joshua Thomas, and we have Margot, played by Jamie Cox.
Uh-huh.
Of course, we've seen works such as Serial. I think one of the best things she's done, Serial Mom. That's kind of top tier. That's Jamie Cox just doing it right, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's definitely top caliber.
And another maternal role for her.
Yeah.
And also has Julian Silver in it.
Yeah, coincidentally.
Yeah.
So it's great to see some of these like more old school JGI players coming back into the fray as we dive into some of these older sketches. Right.
Okay. So
the Just Giggle It Google thing that used to be a big part of it was it Google's parenting.
yes. So again,
Big theme.
and of course, I guess like the framing of kind of what the whole thing's about here is like, what if parents? It's kind of the relatable thing. Parents, sometimes take an interest in the kids' lives and like who the friends are, and like they'll know like, oh, it's the kid from next door. Like it's him. It's the friend of a friend. Like kind of know and get involved in the lives. It's kind of like again, but it's kind of crank the knob off at like. So what if they took an over interest in your kids' battles,
The Dragon, what I like about this is that like somehow they find a way to make this premise funny and not creepy.
Yeah, they do. So so let's see. We have Richard. He's kind of doing the family finances, kind of the budget report again, probably kind of figuring out what the checkbooks, how the checkbooks looking and everything. At the moment, he's kind of doing. I don't know if he's in like finances or accounting or something. He might be, but the point being, he's just kind of doing some, at the very least, some family finances at the table.
Mm-hmm.
So as he's doing that, Margot enters, and Margot's reminding Richard that their son Henry's soccer game is at 4:00. Can you make? He's asking, can Richard make his son's soccer game? It's going to mean the world to the kid.
And then Richard has to be prompted a couple times, like, no. I'm a little too busy. I have a lot of work going on tomorrow. Sorry.
I love what Josh Thomas is doing here, where he's he's really conveying the overworked man who's trying to secure the future of his family. Who again, this guy is not that he's at least at first glance, not that he's an uncaring father. It's the fact that he's just trying to, he's overwhelmed with just trying to keep things kind of solid and kind of liquid before it's about kind of making things. Before it's about like you have to earn the quality time. He's kind of like the Christopher Robin sort of thing. You gotta put in the bit kind of work before family. Not that you don't care about family.
To reference another British Disney property, it's almost like a Mr. Banks quality going on a little bit. Like gosh darn it, my life is dedicated to keeping my family afloat, and I don't have time for silly things.
I think one of these days he'll mend the kite, but right now he's not happy.
Right, yeah.
I guess in this case the kite being soccer, but I think it's a little bit harder to reconstruct a soccer ball. But anyway, point being, okay, so she's really driving the guilt home here. Says, but he's your only son. Again, I love that line there. He's your only son, because that's kind of facilitating the get. We have a little bit of exposition here. We have to establish, okay, so this other kid obviously is not like another son or anything that he has, as we established. Okay. He has the one son, and again, like she's establishing, okay, obviously, the son is important. Of course, we're just kind of setting up kind of for the comedy it's about to ensue. Really nice little flag planted in the writing there. So then we have Joshua Thomas here, really kind of Richard, really bringing it home. It goes a little something like,
"Wait a minute, Barkus." Drew
Barkus? Okay, jumping a little the gun there, too. So, the whole the Henry thing says, I'm sure Henry will understand.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure Henry will understand that I have to put a roof over his head and food on his table, and that takes time, and I have to work, and that takes money.
So we can have energy to play soccer games. You think Henry will appreciate that?
Oh God!
And again, we have just a really lovely. I don't want to just fall by the wayside, because obviously, Joshua Thomas again, he's kind of stealing the spotlight in a way. Again, he's kind of direct.
This is like in his theme month.
It is. Again, it's not like malicious or anything. It's the fact that again, Richard is kind of the driving force of this, and again, fitting into the Josh Thoma-thon. But the point being, though, I do want to highlight Jamie Cox. I think what she's doing is really wonderful here. It's a really great mom kind of wife performance here. Really, again, we have the kind of a somewhat dramatic situation here, but again, the comedy is growing from the cracks within the drama. Obviously, there's some cracks here. We can kind of mine some comedy from and the comedy is kind of naturally growing from it through the performance and the comedy. And again, specifically, I love her reactions and her just like emphasize, because a lot of this is her just kind of repeating the same line or just kind of repeating a similar line, and she's got to sell and she's got to just kind of like, again, she's really got to play into the madness and the absurdity of it, just kind of throw it back at him to kind of set him up for the kill of the joke, as it were, like the kill of the expanding joke. You know, she's like she's facilitating the growth. So Richard's fine. He'll be disappointed again. You know, his friends are going to be there. Nick and Mark and Brian. And, oh, by the way, it just occurred to me right now, Mark and Brian, I wonder if that's a reference to some of the other JGI players, you know, Mark Sipka and
Brian Wiley.
Yeah, Brian Wiley.
Could be. That might be a good pool.
And then, of course, he hits Drew, and then, of course, he stops in his tracks. Richard asks, wait.
Like you know, she lists a couple like Drew and Colin, and then he just stops like, wait, Drew Barkus? Yes, Drew Barkus. 3 houses down, Drew Barkus.
Just love the sense of drama that's encroaching. He's elevating the comedy so wonderfully, but again, it's like keeping the dramatic flair. Initially, it's this dramatic revelation that it devolves into just most likely. And again, if he's in here, you can confirm this. Was there a lot of improv during this one? Because it feels like there might have been. I could be crazy. I don't know. It could be either really well written or really improvised.
That won the talent show at school the last 3 years.
I'm sorry, I'm a little lost, but I just did Jamie Cox is a wonderful delivery there. Anyways, it's like the same Drew Barkus who made the winning shot at the championship basketball game. And then at the buzzer,
just like at the buzzer, and then Joshua Thomas just takes it. He's like, at the buzzer, yeah.
He's going nuts for the buzzer here. He says, at the buzzer, yes, at the buzzer, at the buzzer. Yeah, that guy. Yep, that guy at the buzzer. You know, he's so prideful.
I've got the bullets.
Exactly. Of course, it's a stretch here. I doubt it's super intentional, but yeah, you gotta wonder though. You know, Space Jam, basketball related, Josh Thomas related,
perhaps.
Saying, I mean, of all the sports. Anyway, so my son's friends with him. Yes, Richard, your son has friends.
No, I know my son has those loser friends, but Drew Barkus.
All right, so you're telling me. And I love he's just like the proud 50s dad right here. So you're telling me Drew Barkus, who was in Henry's preschool play, who played the Weeping Tree, and of course, Steve, you and I, we have the same revelation here. I hope. Say
it with me. 1, 2, 3.
But I was the Willow.
Whoa! All right, Josh. I need to know. Was that a reference to Rugrats? Because Dragon and I quote that Rugrats line all the time.
I doubt it.
It is, but I doubt it. But like, if it is, I would love some confirmation on that.
They were there, like, hey, Kyle wants to be, but who's gonna help Kyle be the windmill? But no, in all seriousness, but I was the Willow.
I was the Willow.
Oh, the point being, was this the same Drew Barkus who was in Henry's preschool play, who played the Weeping Tree with such
conviction that he made the entire audience weep, along with the very tree that he himself was playing
in the preschool play? The very same. Oh god! It's just really funny. That same little boy is going to be at Henry's game. Yes. So are you going to be at the game?
Margot, this is my only son. Of course I'm going to go to the game. Why must you ask such a question? I am going to support Drew.
Don't you mean your son Henry?
Oh, right, Henry. Yeah.
So then we're at the soccer game, and I'm convinced. I wish I could get some confirmation on this, but I'm convinced it's like stock footage, like someone else is like taping their kid.
Yeah.
And this is indicative. Here's the weird thing: in the early JGI history, you can notice that They did actually strike it with some real kids for a few videos. Though I would make the assumption, Tiki. I would make the assumption that they tried getting real kids as much as they could, but then they realized it's just far too difficult because one, you have some shooting. Oh, look, I don't know how much of a union operation just.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to make any assumptions, blind assumptions. The point being, though, I don't know if there's like some actual restrictions there, or just the fact there's finding kids, and of course, like an auditioning process, and of course, the fact it might be like an outside kind of contract for that sort of thing might be a little creepy. The point being, all of that said, they struck it right with, I believe, the only two that really come to mind are Healthy Halloween, where we had like the sad Batman kind of showing up to the door.
Oh yeah,
candy. And then, of course, famously, Space Jam, where they have young Adolf Hitler.
Oh my God.
Which again, folks,
how did that get to the parents? Like, hey, parents, let little Timmy play Adolf Hitler.
Oh, I have some confirmation for you, Tiki, about the Rugrats thing.
Okay.
Haha, only if by my subconscious, because I love Rugrats, but it was not a direct choice. Hey, maybe subconsciously, right. I don't know.
But I was the Willow, Josh!
It was the Willow!
Seriously, that's got to be like one of the most referenced things in the Rugrats that Dragon and I like constantly pull from.
And it has a shot at it because, again, that was an iconic one. That was in the Christmas episode. Really good Christmas episode too. Not one of those like it's another Christmas one.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. So we're at the soccer game. We have, I believe, the stock footage there. Richard is very passionately cheering Drew, and it is it's like another Barkus miracle, baby. Come on, Drew. Come on, Drew. Come on, Drew. We have so then we have Julian Silvers. Basically, I believe Sagar Shake is also in the background there. We have Julian, and also Piper Henson. You can barely see her though, but she's there. We have so let's see. Julian Silver is raising the question there again. Julian Silver coming in for the kill, the big premise setting joke of the whole thing. Which one's your son? It's the perfect setup, and we end on the perfect line. Who?
Huh?
Like, I guess in other words, Tiki,
in other words, I feel like he's just so caught up in the fanboying over the mystical wonder that is Drew Barkus that he just completely forgot that he is a parent in his own right.
But Tiki, if I may make a Hare Krishna Muppet movie-esque running gag of ours, if I may cite one.
Okay.
One could say, he's proud of that boy.
Oh, no. Oh, God. Yes.
He's not proud of his boy, but he's proud of that boy.
Wow. Thank you for that, Dragon. Thank you for that.
If we had to kind of simplify it for the folks at home, if we had to. Anyway.
If anyone doesn't know, that was a song that was cut from Aladdin, and Dragon and I bring it up all the time, and it really should have been in the live-action movie, but it wasn't.
I still can't believe it wasn't. We didn't bring that up on Memoirs, given how long Memoirs was. It's surprising we didn't bring that up. But yeah, there was no proud of your boy. Really, that's the thing. I mean, I forget if Katzenberg was the one who put the nail in that coffin or not. But the point being, like, again, proud of your boy. Is it missed from Aladdin? No, probably not. But is it hilarious in context? Yes. And the fact of the matter is, proud of your boy is just. It meant a lot to Howard Ashman, man. The fact that we're going to take another stab at Aladdin, we really have all that we're going to stick to certain things, and we're not going to like kind of shake things up. And at the very least, we're not going to take like a deleted song when all sorts of remakes, and especially musical remakes, just take songs from like other versions or like Broadway versions and such. And we're not going to reinfuse that into I don't know. It sounds like a missed opportunity to me, but I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really weigh in on it fairly.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so final thoughts then.
Yeah, final thoughts. I thought this was a nice, simple, very, very self-contained sketch from the master, Mr. Joshua Thomas. Of course, the writing goes to him as well, and it is very elevated. We get kind of a very simple premise of like, oh, who's this neighbor kid? I like the neighbor kid. He's a good lad. He's a nice young lad. And then it just kind of like elevates from there and goes into Crazy Town. And Dragon, that's just something that is just very easy to track with a lot of our JGI sketches. It's that kind of like base formula. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm totally saying that it's a formula that works and they should keep going with it.
Absolutely. One thing I want to get with my final thoughts here is that overall with this sketch, I get a very Remember Mike esque vibe to it. Remember Mike is pretty much Sipka's kind of prolonging the introduction to a character with a lot of really clever improvisations, which again, I'm getting a vibe of it here. It could be just really good writing or it could be really good improv. The point being either or, it's Josh Thomas thinking on his feet and kind of with the writer's brain in action.
Sure.
It feels like it's ripe with glorious improv, but even if it's not, the point being though, it's this does reflect Josh Thomas, the writer, in terms of another element of how far he's come along, in that you have a sense of, again, it's a writer pulling from what he knows, which any writer, at least at some point in his career, has probably at least pulled from something or been inspired by something So again, Joshua Thomas took something. But it's almost like it's like the everybody loves Raymond factor of the writers room. You take something funny that happened at home, and you work it into the sketch, you work it into the story, and you just run with it. And that's what happened here. We take this a stranger than fiction moment, and we just run with it here, and we kind of bring up it's brief, but brevity many a times can breed true genius. Sometimes that's what we have here. I feel again, it's something really, really funny, really clever. It strikes the landing. Jamie Cox is a perfect counter to the whole thing. Again, she's tossing it back there. We're not doing her any justice here. I feel a little bad for that, but the fact of the matter is she's really good kind of counter to what Josh Thomas is kind of throwing at her, and just kind of going longer and longer, like weeping willows and such. I was the willow. And he's taking something, again, in reality, again, depends on how you look at it, glass half full, half empty sort of thing. It's it's something kind of sad, but again, he's kind of pepping it up and kind of recontextualizing. He's kind of redefining history through comedy in a way. And again, it's like how a lot of comedians, I'm not saying there's I don't know if there's a huge painful thing or not. I doubt. I like to think no. But I like that we're taking something is something that's not intended to be funny. It just happens to be funny, and we're kind of recontextualizing and saying, no, guys, permission to laugh. It's really funny, and just by all means, sometimes just some absurdity can be bred from real life, and we're just going to kind of use this and just kind of breed into what JGI does best. So, rip the knob off at 11. Yeah. Also, Josh Thomas in the comments here is going to say,
yeah,
this was early when I started directing JGI when we said, no mas mal. I believe he's
nice.
I believe that it's not important anyway. All right. Okay, so I guess that brings us to a close here. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Demona B, Generation Productions, Joshua Thomas himself. And just anyone else who kind of happens away. Again, I also encourage everybody to again drop some questions in for the Josh Thoma-thon, the Discord page or in the comments section of the videos here. We're going to bring them up when we do the big sit down with the man himself. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be our big finale to the Josh Thoma-thon. And then, as I said before, that'll do it for now until the next reach into the Just Giggle It grab bag.
The Drew Barkus?
He was